Good afternoon, I'm Sophia from Cambodian Center for Human Rights. Today I'm very happy to join with other panelists for the one of the interesting subject by the time being, will democracy survive the national security in the digital space of Southeast Asia. So from Cambodia, I believe that you may aware that we have come across a very challenging time within these past few years with a massive crackdown on civic space. So we have experienced a number of challenges. One, the legislation that have been introduced, or the existing legislation that have been utilized to further restrict the space that we are living with. So the law that the government have introduced, namely the telecommunication law, the social media broadcast that the government have introduced right before election in 2018. And most recently, the government introduced the law on the management of the nation in the state of emergency. Although the government have not declared the state of emergency, however, if it will, the law itself will give a very excessive power to the government. And other existing legislations with recent amendment as well, like the lèse majesté provision. So all of this law have chilling effect on the freedom of expression, especially the freedom online. And we have seen an increased trend where the government have monitor and watch out people online on social media, especially Facebook, with very popular in the kingdom. And with this, recently, Cambodian Center for Human Rights, we have documented the Cambodian Fundamental Freedom Monitor that cover the freedom of expression. And what is quite interesting, we can see that almost half of the case that we documented concerning the violation on freedom of expression are cases related to online freedom. So with this, we can see also within the coverage period that we document between April 2019 to March 2020, at least 48 individuals have been arrested in relation to their online expression. Because of this as well, it may attribute to the lower percentage of people who we have surveyed that express that they feel less free to express publicly on social media. So the percentage have been declined from year to year, and this is our fourth annual report. So we document a very low percentage where people express that they feel free to express openly on social media, with only around 29%. I would point out one of the interesting case, and very sad in a way that the government have accused one of the journalists that he's the publisher for TV Facebook, named Sovanriti. He have been accused of incitement because he exactly quote the Prime Minister's statement, who suggesting the motor taxi driver to sell his motorbike in order to survive during the COVID time. And because of this quote, when Sovanriti cited this, he was accused of incitement. So this case is just one of the illustrative cases that a number of other cases have been brought against the citizen, the journalist, as well as the intimidation against civil society actor, because the way that we exercise our freedom. So with these challenges, I believe Cambodia is not alone in the region, in the Southeast Asia region. We face a very common challenges, and it requires that the authority in the region, especially for Cambodian government, to take immediate action to restore the space and to make sure that it compliant to the international human rights standard as it obligated. So I would appeal to the government to ensure that any pending law that would be introduced so compliant to the international human rights standard, ensuring the fundamental freedom, including the freedom of expression. The government should also revoke or repeal existing law that having a chilling effect on freedom of expression, such as the defamation or other provision that restrict the dissenting voice. It's also important that any government in this region have to stop judicial harassment and other form of intimidation against human rights defenders, journalists, as well as the citizen. I think the government would gain more credit if they work toward the promotion and protection of human rights. So I would join with our panelists today to appeal to all the government in the region to work toward the promotion and protection of human rights rather than restricting the space and intimidating the dissent voice. Thank you.